Okay, so welcome everybody. Continue on this week with our funded trader webinar series, how to become a funded trader. And today we have Austin Silver of ASFX. This is the first time we've had Austin, so really looking forward to a lot of the tips and tricks that he has for becoming a funded trader. So next slide. And let's go through the risk disclosure first. General disclosure, all Bookmap limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure, trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Next slide. Okay. And there we go. Okay, so welcome, Austin. How to become a funded trader, going
Thanks,
through your
Bruce.
tips and tricks. And Austin, if you want to go through go through the bio here.
Absolutely. It's good to be here, everybody. Thank you, Bruce, for having me, and staff at Bookmap. Happy to be here. Big fan of Bookmap. If you don't know me, I run a business called ASFX. We've been running this business since 2019. Previous to that, I worked at a prop firm called T3 Live, T3 Trading. They were based in New York City. So I have a little bit of background there. We went off from 2019, like I said, and started ASFX. Since then, we've done 15 different trading seminars, courses to people all over the world, just educating traders to hopefully shrink the learning curve. That's really why I'm here. You know, my goal is to take complex ideas and try to make them simple for simple people like me to understand, and then translate that into making money through prop trading, especially over the last year and a half. So we're going to talk about that a lot today. My main thing, other than trading, is my podcast called The Day Trading Show. We interview successful traders with proven track records. No rented Lambos, no Rolexes, no fancy stuff like that. Just real traders, real results. And I think I'm very proud of that, because I think I've done a good job of getting to know some of these guys that are very well known through trading books and well known through the trading internet space. But sometimes you don't really know, like, what does Brian Shannon like to do in his free time, for example? Or how did Brian actually get into trading when he first started? And it's really cool to see and hear those lessons from such great traders. And I think it makes trading not just, more enjoyable and more motivating, but it actually makes it more real just for a lot of people. So that's a little bit about me and what we have going on. Here's my contact, everybody. If you'd like to get to know me a little bit more, you can basically find me at Austin Silver FX on all social media, or asfx.biz. What I do day to day is I live stream my trading through our live streaming platform called ASFX TV. And when we do that, I actually show people day to day how I'm using Bookmap as one of the tools to help me stay funded and stay getting paid out through these different prop firms. And we'll talk about a couple of them today. Bruce, do you want to go over this really quick, the new slide?
Yeah, sure. Just a few notes here for everybody. You're following us on Discord. You guys are well aware about our beta programs, but I just want to reiterate one in particular is this multi-account add-on that allows prop traders to trade from one main account, but spin multiple orders into multiple different accounts. We also have the Market Pulse Pace of Tape and some other programs here, Blue Jacket and Bookmap Academy. But if you're interested in some of these beta programs, just reach out to us at beta@bookmap.com. Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Bruce. So before we get into this, everybody, I'm going to share my screen. Let's get out of this PowerPoint for a second. We're going to take a look. This is my typical screen setup when we're looking for trades every day. I have Bookmap pulled up on the left side. I alternate between the MES and the ES. And then I have my trading view set up here on the right side. So this is the typical setup for me. I want to know real quick, because I can see everybody in Discord. I want to know who is currently trading prop accounts, who's currently in a challenge, who's trading personal capital, who's maybe thinking about trading a prop firm challenge, just so I can kind of get an idea for who we're talking to here in the audience. Let me see if we can pull up this live chat. Bruce, are you hearing me loud and clear still?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Just having a little bit of lag issue here with the Bookmaps. Let's see if I can get this fixed too. So BMX says I do some props. Prop, personal capital, don't understand prop approach. Okay, my own capital, but looking to trade prop. Cool. Thank you, Dino. There you go. That helps. Love that. A couple of funded challenge accounts here and there, halfway. Okay, thank you. prop and personal, my own capital, but looking cool. So it's really good to speak with a lot of people who are currently trading their own capital, because I can maybe for fun today pitch you on the idea of trading with a prop firm. I do not own a prop firm. I don't work for a prop firm. I have a couple that I do make affiliate fees from sending people to them, but that's it. So where I can come from is a risk perspective to talk to you about what you're risking when you trade your own capital versus what you risk when you come trade with a prop firm. So we'll talk about that a little bit today. Really good answers there, everybody. Thank you for engaging with me and being involved. Before we get into the layout of that, I want to just give you like my quick hitter Bookmap tips. So Bruce and I actually did a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and Bruce inspired a lot of these tips. Bruce has helped me tremendously through his other videos, but also through the conversation in the hour and a half that he gave me. The big thing that has helped has been using either TraderMap Pro or TraderMap Lite. That is a feature within Bookmap that allows you to remove the algo, remove the bot that has currently been trailing price on US markets. Now, of course, Bookmap can be used for many things other than just US markets, US indices. However, that's what I trade. So I'm on today. We're going to talk about what I do. ES is my main instrument. So I'm trading the S&P 500 every single day. We have a lot of guys that I do trade with who are trading NASDAQ, trading NQ. So I think it would be split maybe 60-40. 60% of the people I work with are ES, 40% are NQ. So the same thing can be applied. Once you figure out how to get the TraderMap Lite set up, which is very easy through the configurations here in Bookmap, as you can see, it's very easy to get this on. You're then able to really see these key, what I like to call order blocks. I know that that is a term that gets thrown around on the internet a lot. I don't know what other people define it as. This is how I define it. They are blocks of orders, horizontal blocks of orders that are telling me to pay attention to that price. It's not telling me what it's going to do when it gets to that price. I'm going to talk to you about that in a second. But what I'm looking at first, especially when I'm looking to take a position, is where is price going to get pulled to? And the way I'm going to determine that is by the heaviest order block that I can see. So for example, and this is why I'm so excited to be here with you guys today, you can see right now, our heaviest block of orders is currently sitting at 58.95 on the upside, also up near 5,900. And then on the downside, we're building an order block here at 58.80. And I know this is very simple to say, but it's just the truth. Use the colors that Bookmap gives us. Let that guide you. I have my Bookmap filtered, as you can see up here, to only show me the thicker blocks of orders. I do not have it like this because to me, this doesn't help as much as, for say, this, where I can clearly see the orders I'm trying to trade to. Now, I also use the CVD, the delta, and I want to know really who's in control, buyers or sellers. It's not something that I'm going to look to make specific trades off of, but I know that if I'm looking for longs, as we have an example here on screen, then having a positive CVD is definitely going to help those longs. Let's take a second to leave a second for questions in the live chat on my Bookmap order block kind of takeaway there. While I wait for some questions in the chat, I want to talk to you about the right side of my screen. So this is my trading view setup. We have a custom indicator that Lux Algo built for us. We use that. That sets up the 15-minute opening range, which are these two horizontal lines you see on my screen. This is a 1-minute chart of MES, the micro ES. I use that 15-minute opening range to determine the levels I'm going to trade from. We also have a trade, as you see here on screen, that we would call a mid-range trade. Look at how we're smack in the middle of this range. I teach this entry signal in our free course. It's called Futures 101. It's using this blue VWAP, which is a VWAP anchored to the 930 open, to help me determine who's in control, buyers or sellers. So now I don't see any. Oh, actually, there's some questions. So we're going to come back to this in a second here. Okay, we'll come back to that. So now let me just put this whole thing together. You can see we have a thicker order block at 58.95 and 5,900 above us. You can see that buyers are holding above New York VWAP more than below it. That would feed to me that we have the potential to move higher and go test these order blocks above at 58.95 and then 5,900 from where we currently sit at 58.90. And as you can see, I'm picking up a little bit of movement to the upside. And now what I'm going to do is watch the volume that comes in when we get to these key levels. Remember I said it doesn't tell me what to do. I don't know what I'm going to do at that level. The volume is what's going to tell me what to do. What do we do when we interact with this order block here? Do we fill it on either buying volume or selling volume? If we fill it on buying volume, we have the potential to go higher. Another little trick that I'll use is if they fill it on buying volume and start to paint more orders above price, meaning they start to put orders on at 59.03, 59.05, 59.06, that's going to also tell me that we could push through that level and continue to the upside. If we fill it on selling volume, then I will look to use that 58.95 price as a potential place for resistance, where we're either going to look for shorts or we're going to look to take profit on longs. Okay. Good. Keep the questions coming. We'll circle back on that in a few minutes. I think that should be making sense to everybody so far. Now, today's market's a little choppy, as we can see. Very tight opening range so far today. This is only 20 points up and down, which is very small. So to kind of summarize this trade idea here, we're using VWAP and key levels to determine where are we positioned in the market. We're using then Bookmap to say where could the market get pulled to the upside and to the downside, right? On the downside, we've been saying 58.80. And the thicker that this gets, the more that it builds, the more it's going to pull price towards it. It's that simple. So that's one big kind of like summary of how I'm using the Bookmap day to day with the key levels that I like to trade with to find out where price could move to. And nothing works 100% of the time. And that's the beautiful thing about Bookmap is you really start to see how that works, right? You really start to see that in trading, you are only playing the probabilities. You're never playing with certainties. It's just not happening. So you want to just shift probabilities in your favor as much as you can in order to find success. So now while we watch this kind of simmer here, let's talk about passing a prop challenge. So I can talk to some of you that are trading with your own capital, or maybe you're in a challenge phase of it. I've been trading futures prop challenges in the futures market since February of this year. The reason I came to futures, I had originally been trading Forex with CFD prop firms for 4 years, almost 4 years. The reason we came to futures at the turn of the year was because US customers were forced to leave. A lot of US prop firms were not able to accept new US traders. Even prop firms in Europe couldn't accept US traders due to some regulations that came into play, situations that unfolded. We're not going to talk about all that drama, right? So when we were forced to come to futures, it taught me a lot. The first firm that I went to was TopStep, and now I've tried a lot of different firms. I'm still funded with TopStep, and they're the firm that I've taken the most money from as far as payouts. But I want to just give you the stats of it. I tell most people that are getting into prop that you should be looking for 6 to 10 payouts per year. If you take more than 10 payouts from a prop firm in 1 year, in my opinion, you are top 1%, maybe even a fraction of 1%. Most people are taking these prop challenges and failing. They're very affordable, they're very cheap, and people blow through them like hotcakes. And I would recommend to you that you take a different approach, especially for those of you here on Bookmap today that are trading personal capital. You know what it's like to care for the capital, to have a conscious approach to your trading. I would recommend you apply that approach to props only because it de-risks all of your situation while still leaving you with a really great upside. The upside from prop firms comes from copy trading. The payouts that I've seen, especially even in the last couple of months, have all been because I'm copy trading to more than one account. So let's say in the prop space, you pay for the cheapest account possible, the cheapest challenge possible. That challenge will probably give you about $2,000 of drawdown. That $2,000 of drawdown, if you were to risk $500 of trade, you're going to be out in 4 trades potentially, right? Maybe 3, depending on how you manage the trades. If you were to say, I'm going to buy 5 of those accounts, and instead of risking 500 in one account, I'll risk 500 across 5 accounts. Now it's only $100 of risk per account, so you can keep that account for a longer period of time. Sidebar for a second. A lot of traders will pass challenges, get paid out, and then lose those accounts. It's perfectly normal. You're not doing this to keep these, funded accounts, we'll call them. That's what they call them. You're not there to keep these accounts. You're there to pass them, take payouts, and keep that needle moving forward. It's not somewhere where I would recommend that you look to park and sit for a long time. You don't know what the future of regulation is. You don't know what the future is for this business model. None of us know. So it's best to squeeze this lemon while we can, as we have over the last few years. And I think we will continue to. But always be, of course, ready to trade personal capital, which is why for a lot of you, you should really consider this, because you can take the personal capital and put it aside. We all know trading personal capital, even if you have excess cash, of course, it's still personal capital. You worked for that money. You already paid tax on that money. Now you're going to trade it, make hopefully gains on it, and then have to pay more tax on it. Whereas if you go trade with a prop too, you can set your business up in a way to actually write off some of the money that they pay you in your payouts because it's contractor-based income. Talk to your accountant. Don't talk to me about that, but it's a tax-friendly environment when you're trading with these prop firms too. So there's a lot of opportunity to de-risk personally and open yourself up to, say, prop firm risk, which is fixed, which is I'm going to spend $500 a month on combines, challenges, or I'm going to spend $1,000 a month. Some of the guys that are getting the biggest payouts are spending $15,000 or $20,000 per month on challenges, but they are getting $30,000 or $40,000 a month out in payouts. And that's due to the copy trading. So for those of you that are listening to this, remember the key that I would give you to passing prop firms and really maximizing them is to take advantage of copy trading. Some people will disagree. I actually had a guy last week on my podcast who does not do copy trading. He's a funded trader with Top Step. It's done very well. His payouts speak for themselves. He showed me that, like, it's all legit, but he just has a different perspective. I'm here today to share what's worked for me and what's worked for the people in our mentorship group. So we have a group called the Black Shirt Club. We trade together all day, every day. It just happens to be I'm also wearing a black shirt today. But these are the people that pay to basically have their learning curve cut by the 10 years of experience that I have. And in the Black Shirt Club, the guys that have seen payouts the most, we just had someone take $30,000 out from a prop firm. We had a guy a few months ago take out $40,000. Our average payout's about $2,500. So we've seen some big success and we've seen some, consistent average success. It's all done through copy trading. That's the point I'm making. I'm not just trying to talk to you about how successful our group is. It's just copy trading is the hack to getting bigger payouts. You can trade one account with these prop firms and still take payouts, but you're not going to make life-changing money. 40 grand in a month is life-changing. So John said, do you prefer the larger accounts with a larger drawdown or the smaller accounts to get funded and build equity? I have seen more success with the middle size accounts, John. If comparing a 50K, 100K, and 150, you're not really buying a 50K account. You're buying $2,000 a drawdown or $3,000, however much drawdown. That's what you're paying for. I recommend either the smallest or the middle size accounts. I don't think you need to have the biggest account to still see $5,000 to $10,000 a month payouts. Bo Diddley said, isn't the goal 2% per day? Absolutely not, Bo. Absolutely not. Each prop firm has different rules that you need to make. Some prop firms want you to make $200 a day. Some prop firms want you to make a 20% consistency rule. Each firm has their own rules. You have to see it as a game in a way. You are now taking the skill of trading and applying it to this gamified trading model that's allowing you to take a simulated account, which is crazy to say. It's simulated. It's a demo account. But if you trade it well, they're going to pay you out with real money, real cash in your bank account. And if you're good enough, they will move you to a live account, which for those of you that are trading your own capital, happy days. Now you're trading a live account and it's not even your own money. You have full access to it. You can take daily payouts from it. It's beautiful. One little thing here too, everybody, is I actually do some work with a firm called TradeZella. I can give you a discount if you're interested in getting an account with them. TradeZella has a straight to sim funded account, which means no challenge. It has tighter rules, but if you can follow their tight rules, there's no challenge to pass. You just trade well and you'll take a payout. I took a $1,500 payout after 19 days with them. Not even a full month of trading, and I took $1,500 out my first try. So I think that says a lot. I failed a lot of challenges in my career, right? I've also seen good payouts, but for me to get a payout on month one of this new company, trying this new model, this straight to funded model, it's a great opportunity for a lot of you too. Bo said, how are they paying? Is it monopoly money you're trading from all the blowups? They are paying from the people who are failing. That is the criticism that people have with this business model. The old school prop firm model, where I worked at T3, was you come into T3 or whatever the firm is, we're going to teach you how to trade and slowly build up capital for you to give you more size to trade with. This new model is come in, pay for your size. If you fail, we're going to use your payout, your failure, to pay out the very small percentage of people that are successful. You guys here on this Bookmap stream are probably successful traders or close to successful traders. You have to remember how many people just gamble these accounts away. These companies are doing millions of dollars a day in sales. They are getting rich off all these people failing, but you can get rich off of following a set of rules and treating this more seriously than them. Yep. Stan said, true, but the buffer zone is higher on sim to funded, that growth or other. Yeah, that's true. Alex said, but if we use copy trading, those small accounts on Top Step, we'll get the issue to pass $200 a day limit to have a payout. Well, I think you just got to make sure you're risking and making more than $200 a day, Alex. Like I said, it's a game. So you've got to, yeah. Bodley said, so if there's no path to a live account, sounds like a Ponzi. Correct. That's why the regulation that's going to come, people are saying at the turn of the year, is going to enforce a lot of these firms to push people to live accounts. I'm going to Miami actually this Saturday to shoot a podcast with the guy that runs TradeZella. I already did with him on Zoom, but I want to talk to him in person. And I'm going to talk to him more about this because I think it's really important that people see there is a path to live accounts, but only for traders that are successful. They're not going to put someone who has a terrible track record with the firm in a live account. Like, for example, let's say Bo Diddley. Let's say you spent so much money, bro. Let's say you bought 500 challenges and failed them all, right? 500 of them, you failed them all. You finally pass one and get to a live account. Do you really think you deserve a live account? They're not going to risk that on someone who's failed and YOLO'd it and gambled it 500 times. But the guy who's only bought a few, seen some payouts, been successful, they can look at your track record, they will move that guy to live account. Bo Diddley, search the Day Trading Show, my podcast. Go watch my episode with Brett, the guy from TradeZella. He talks about even how when they have live traders, they're going to look to not just book those live traders, but even run option strategies that go in favor or like kind of hedge the trades that the live traders are putting on. So these guys have a lot of creative ways to keep their business model afloat because there's been some of these firms that have gone bust. So keep the questions coming. Let's take a look back at Bookmap. You can see these orders above here at 58.95 really starting to heat up, starting to pull price higher at 58.93. So this has been the direction we've been kind of leaning into this morning. Look at how Delta has gone from 5,000 to 6,000 to 7,000, now 8,000 through the stream here being on with you guys. I think we're going to look at 5,900 here above and see if that's going to want to be tested, and how that fills will determine where we go. Above us here, we have previous days New York VWAP. That's one of my favorite places to trade to or trade from. So underneath it here, but holding today's New York VWAP, I'm looking at this as a long opportunity up to the 59.08. But then when I couple it with Bookmap and I see that VWAP is at 59.08, but the Bookmap's telling me there's orders at 5,900, I would be looking to take profit at this for this trade at 5,900. You know what I'm saying? You're risking about 10 to 12. That's about 10 to 12 on the upside. It's a 1-to-1 trade. That's what I usually look for. So I think, combining all of this together, you can have your technical indicator as your target, but then you can still use Bookmap to even get yourself out earlier, right? Front run that thing. Make sure you're getting out in profit so you don't get left in a wick or something like that. Oh, nice. Bo Diddley, Sunny Isles. Who else is in? I'm in Florida. I'm in Tampa. Anybody here in Tampa? Good questions, everybody. Link, please. Yeah, let me pull that up for you really quick. We can pull that up. We can throw this right in the Discord for you guys. Do you trade pre-market or regular trading only? Great question, John. I only trade regular trading hours. I used to do everything, brother. From my Forex days, I've done. Now, especially with Bookmap and learning how price moves markets and everything like that, I'm such a big believer. And if you can't make your money from 9 to 11, you got to find a new strategy, bro. None of us got into this business to be stuck at this desk all day. Like on ASFX TV, on our streaming platform, we literally, the guy that's running the stream this morning, he's going to finish in 3 minutes. He runs it for the first hour. We do a kill zone stream in the afternoon with one of our other guys, 2 hours a day. Some days it's 3 hours and that's it. That's all we stream. We could run a stream all day, every day and make more money and charge people more, but that doesn't mean it's going to be profitable for our traders. We actually want people to make money. That's why I've got really good reviews on Trustpilot. And I'm proud of that because I think a lot of people get into this, education business and they just try to milk everybody. I don't do that at all because I think you can stand out like I have by actually putting money in people's pockets. We can win. I can make money. You can make money. That's a really good situation for everybody. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's really good to meet you guys and really good to connect with you guys. I really appreciate Bookmap for having me on, for Bruce and the team letting me come in and try to share my experience. You know what I mean? So let me give you another thing. Like right now with no orders really underneath here. And yes, there are orders. Of course, you see it right here. But the heavier block is clearly above. Look at the color. That tells me even more we're going to pull higher here. That's probabilistically speaking what I'm thinking.
Yeah, Austin, I'm wondering, so you've kind of outlined a basic strategy here using your VWAP,
Yep.
and then also the heat map and the volume, as you explained. And I really like the way you're looking at Bookmap there with the heat map and the delta from the volume pulling price up into these areas of high liquidity. So the direction, where it's going, and I'm wondering how you manage something like that, and then especially how do you manage a trade like this, what's unfolding right now?
Yep. So we got a long here, Bruce. We have a long at 58.90 right here that I've got up on screen now too, so everyone should be able to see this. And like I said, everybody, see how these orders are filling on green volume here? That's telling me we have the potential to go higher. So as we start to flush to the 5,900, I'll lock my stop at break even like that, and I'll start to piece out of this trade because it's starting to flush a little bit. So I'll lock stop. I just closed 3, which is half. And now here, right at 10:30, look at how these orders are going to start to flash. And we're going to see what do we want to do. But look at how it filled 5,900 with buying volume. So we definitely could continue higher from here. Because if you look, don't really have anything on the book. Let's see if this will, there it comes. 5,902 starting to build. Does that answer your question, Bruce, on how I'll manage it? It happened right there live for us.
Yeah, I mean, like initially, like how you manage your trade differently due to the prop trading environment.
Okay. Taking profits very aggressively, as you just saw, is a huge tip for prop trading. So if I show you really quick my TradeZella, this is where I track all my trades. You can see, if we look at this, my day win rate up at the top here, 78%. I'm big on making sure we end the day green. I think if you want to take payouts from a prop firm, you've got to finish the day green. I think a 60% win rate is very reasonable to then say what you're looking to do as far as like, how do I align to get payouts? So I think to manage the trade to, try to push yourself towards payouts, that's what you should be looking for is 70+% of the time you finish the day green. Even if it's $50, just finish the day green. By the end of the month, if you string enough green together, you'll be in a position for a payout. So it's kind of like a game of survival. Does that answer the question a little bit more clearly?
I guess so. I mean, it's still a bit of a few questions here.
Okay,
so
keep coming.
You would trade differently for a prop trading account just because you want to take the profits. It mildly hits kind of your take profit area where you would kind of consider getting out. But like if you were trading your own account, you may let it run further.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But in this environment, you're going to take your profit and you're going to look for the next trade.
Exactly. So one thing that they like, some of these firms have, hey, you can't make more than 20% of your payout in one day. So you actually have to monitor how much you make or lose to follow their rules. The other firm has, you have to make $200 end of day P&L for 5 days before you can take any payout. Well, you better make sure you finish. Let's say you're up 800, you better not finish red that day, at least make 200 that day. So there's some rules you got to play with that are different than if you were trading your own capital, where you would just be trailing out, trying to run these trades and maximizing them as much as you can. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, like look at it right now. I mean, like you noticed earlier, the momentum was still there, and you're still looking for this to go higher, but you would have taken, you did take some of your profit there.
Yep, exactly. And
So,
now look at how I'll trail this stop up. So I won't let this flip on me. You know what I mean? I'm up 180 unrealized. The worst I'm going to walk out of this is 80. So I'll give back 100, but if I'm going to leave that on for the potential to go make the full 360 on the rest of the position. So it's a very aggressive style of scalping and trading. But if you could put yourself at, like I said, that 60 to 70% win rate, day win rate at about 70%, you'll take payouts. You're not going to always have these monstrous months of payouts. For example, and I mean, Bruce, you probably would agree with this because you speak to a lot of traders. Most of your gains, it's that 80-20 principle. You'll have some, like my entire year has been made from 3 months. The rest of the year, I've been basically break even or up like less than $10,000 each month. The entire year comes from just a few months of trading, a few days even of trading. So the rest of the time, a lot of us are just trying to stay alive and not have these big red days, not have any, big blow up days, stack some green, get some green, have some break even, and just survive for those bigger wins that then end up making your year.
Right. Okay. But if this were your own personal account, you would not have been as aggressive.
No, I wouldn't have taken any off at this point. Where now I'm closing the trade as it moves in my favor, making sure I realize gains, and I'll reestablish risk and look for a second trade if I want to keep pushing that needle today. You know what I'm saying? But some days you hit the trade with enough size, you can make enough money on the first trade of the day. I always recommend to people, if you make good money on your first trade, just call it. Because when you give that back, it sucks, especially with the prop firm stuff, because you really only, once you pass a challenge, especially Bruce, you really only need a couple of days, not even months of good trading to get a payout and take a couple $1,000s out of this. You know what I'm saying? So it's very, very attainable. People think it's very difficult. Once you I've seen it. I got guys I could show you in our Discord. They passed their first challenge. It takes them 7-8 weeks with me to pass the first one. Within 3 weeks of passing, they passed 4 or 5 more. Once you break through, everybody, and you try it for the first time and you play with the rules and you make a couple mistakes and learn from it, it's actually like you might see the light and you might like it. So it's really cool to speak to a lot of you that are trading personal capital, because I think I'd love to see in a couple of weeks, if you went and tried it, what you think of it,
Yeah, no, it's great stuff. And just trying to get the points across about how you're trading it differently, because it's as you mentioned multiple times here, the strategies are different because the game is different.
The game is different. Exactly. And it's always, I mean, trading itself is not a game. You got to take it very seriously. I think if you want to do consistently well, but I mean, life is a game. There's rules to life. You can't break the law. So like the game is just the easy word to use. I know that word game shouldn't be associated with trading and whatever, but you guys get what I'm saying. There's rules. Follow the rules, stick to the guidelines, and also look at what successful traders in the space have done. And it's very duplicatable, but you have to be able to be disciplined. I would say that's the one word, the one buzzword, Bruce, that I don't mind using in this conversation is discipline. Because I think trading your own money, it's easy to justify mistakes. When you break rules and fail a prop firm challenge, it's really easy to see that you did that because you're not disciplined. It's a really good reality check for a lot of traders. So I would say, especially if you haven't tried one, everybody, it's $50 to try one for like the cheapest account with some of these firms. I'm sure there's even cheaper ones out there. Do some research on the firm, make sure they're reputable, right? Read their FAQs, read their rules, and then go give it a whack. Like it's $50. It's Chipotle for 3 people. You know what I mean? And not even now, right? Jeez. Like, you want extra guac on the burrito or you want to take a prop challenge, right?
Okay. Well, yeah, good to hear. If someone's going to jump into the foray here, what would you, what would be the number one thing that you would recommend? I mean, something like it could be like, make sure you have a very simple and strategy that you know how to follow, that has edge.
Yeah. And
or, I mean,
that would be it. 100%. I think that's the difference maker. So I can speak on that from like my coaching experience, not just from my own trading. Like when I have a guy that I'm thinking of right now, his name is Ken. He's been working with me for almost 16 weeks. He's in the program for the full 4 months, and he struggled to pass the combine and struggled. But all we did each week was work on refining his edge. He took our free course, which is called Futures 101. He refined his VWAP trades. He decided to play one side of the market. Then we decided to just trade one asset. Then we decided what time of day specifically. So it's continuing to refine that niche. Like we have a whole trading plan template that we make people fill out when they join the mentorship. What time of day do you want to be held accountable to trading? When are you done trading? How much risk will you put on each trade? All of that should be clearly detailed, I think, written down in your trading plan. And that's a part of your edge, everybody. I'll put a link to that free futures course in the chat here if you guys want to check it out. It's totally free. That'll teach you literally one of the VWAP strategies that you just saw me trade here today. We put out the best stuff for free because I think if you put your best stuff out for free, people trust you and they stay with you for a long time. So that's why we do that. It's totally free. And you'll see there's a specific VWAP play, this mid-range VWAP bounce. There's a specific stop loss for it, a specific target for it. And I walk you through a bunch of examples so you see it's duplicatable. You see that it happens fairly often. But again, never in that thing do I say it wins 100% of the time. If you look at my trading last week, I was 0 for 3 on this setup. The week before, I was 3 for 3. That's how trading works sometimes. And then this week, it's been 2 for 2. Today will be 2 for 2. Yesterday 1, today 1. So yeah, I think that would be my advice, everybody, especially if you want to do the prop firm stuff. You got to have a clear edge, like Bruce said. And you can really like find tools like Bookmap that make it so much easier to trade successfully. Like Bookmap has been a huge, huge tool for me. Just to see, like right now, as this trade continues to pop higher, we could argue like we can remove this take profit and just trail this stop. There's only one contract left. I've been closing some of it. Look, they're putting contracts up at 59.20. So, okay, we're at 59.09. We could see another 10 points on this. I'll take that even on one contract. But look at how aggressively I'm trailing that stop too. Like I'm not letting this thing flip on me. We're not going to let this go, let alone red. We're not going to let the green go down that much. We're not going to get back a lot of green. Nice to get a winning trade on the stream too. Can't hate that.
Yeah, beauty.
Yeah.
I mean, just a huge momentum there.
Yeah. Is it available footprint chart? I actually don't know. Bruce, do you know what a footprint chart is? What does that mean?
Yeah. So Bookmap does have a footprint chart. I can demo it for you guys. Next week, I can demo it for you. But if you have access to Bookmap Global Plus, you get it for free. Anyway, maybe next week I can demo the footprint features for you.
Perfect. I'm still learning. Like I said at the beginning, everybody, Bookmap, it's a newer tool for me. It's a clear game changer, but I'm still learning. I watch all of Bruce's videos. I'm super active in the education side of the community because There's always more to learn with this thing. That is the craziest thing about Bookmap, is like how many add-ons there are, how many different ways there are to find an edge. And it's all about what speaks to you, right? Like Bruce, I'm sure you've seen people do all different ways of combining Bookmap and making it look different, and it works for them. You just got to find what speaks to you and stick to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like when it comes down to it, actually, the Bookmap part of it, it looks so complex, but it's actually very straightforward. It's like, where are the orders, and what's the appetite for those orders?
It's almost too straightforward. You know what I mean? I think that's what people overcomplicate things all the time. But I think one of the things that people do, like they want these indicators, they want this Heikinashi, this candle, this, that. It's like all that pays is price. You get in at 5,900 and you sell it at 5,910. You're going to make money. It doesn't matter what indicator got you in there. Price pays. Well, Bookmap is the damn near, other than like VWAP is my favorite indicator, but Bookmap is price. It's not an indicator. Like I wouldn't say I'm using Bookmap as an indicator. I'm actually reading prices there and trying to determine who's going to pull us where. Like right now, as orders are starting to build below us, we could definitely see this come back towards, 5907, even 5903. My stop's at 5901 and a quarter. So I'll be able to sit through that. But if more orders start to paint heavier underneath it, there it comes. See, on some selling volume. So we can see if that'll actually send us all the way down to 5,900, maybe. But to see how they're starting to fill, maybe we'll bounce here a little bit. Delta's still crazy positive, 13,000. Yeah, see? So they took those orders there, but now we have some buyers stepping back in. Not really adding too many orders underneath here near 5,900. So that's telling me this could be support and it could start to bounce. Delta's also spiking back up here. And that's what, like I said, that aggressive stop trail just makes it super simple for me. So yeah. Bo Diddley's got target. Nice. Okay, cool. So some of you actually robbed. Nice, dude. Nice on the NQ. Very nice. Yeah, Bruce, do you have any tips for me of things you think I could do a little bit different with Bookmap that might help now that you've seen the way that I'm kind of using it?
No, I mean, it is great the way you're using it. I mean, like very, very simple, very effective. Like you've got your VWAP strategy, your edge. Now you're looking at the order flow.
Yeah.
And where just like you said, where are the orders? And then what is the volume dots and the delta that you're reading in there? It's really like kind of a horizontal time and sales within a price structure.
Exactly.
So
I mean, I'm so guilty of trying to get like edge from Twitter and edge from news. And that is so bad. Like it works so inconsistently. And then you look at stuff like VWAP and Bookmap, you put those two together. Guys, we just made money on this trade. Haven't looked at Twitter once. Haven't looked at the news once. Couldn't tell you if there was 10 o'clock news, 9 o'clock. I know the open was at 9:30. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can get sucked into thinking Twitter is going to give you the answers and the news is, nope, price is going to give you the answers. Learn to feel and read the price.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what we always say is like, first off, what is the market? What is the instrument? Okay, now who's participating? Because what affects price? The only thing that can affect price are orders. So it is the behavior of the participants and their activities that affect the price. Exactly. So we better understand what the order flow is in order to see where price might go. And a beautiful read you just had this morning with that momentum.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm envious of the people who can trade shorts really well on U.S. markets, Bruce, like the guys that can nail tops and catch some big volatility. But I always struggle with that. Over this year, especially, I've really reinforced leaning a little bit more long. I have like this setup specifically this morning is my favorite long setup. When we break out of this opening range to the downside here, there's a 70% probability that we actually go and break the upside as it does right here with this pin. So because we didn't break the upside first, it takes the first 15 minutes to set this range. Once the downside is broken, if anyone in my community is here, they know I love this long. This is my favorite trade. So that's why we had to be involved in it this morning. I've done a lot of back testing on it, but that combines Bookmap to tell me that we're going to pull, VWAP to tell me when buyers take control. And that 70% stat actually comes from a website called Edgeful. And they do a lot of like data and statistics of like, what's the probability say? Not every time, 70%, 65% is not every time. But then you kind of put all this together. It's a really, really strong edge.
Yep. No, great stuff. Great stuff.
Yeah.
Guys, any questions? Please put them in the chat there.
Yeah. Anything, guys. Except how tall am I? I won't tell you.
Yeah, it's looking good. So has it reached your overall VWAP from the day yet, or
Yeah.
not?
Yeah. So we reached that previous day New York VWAP,
Right.
which
There
I
you
know
go.
is the level that
Yep.
we could slow down here. But since we are holding above it, I'm going to bring the stop up to 59.05, trail it even a little tighter like this. So not bad. Not bad. Yeah, that's my thing, everybody. It's like I keep things real simple. Like I said at the beginning, I try to take complex stuff that's taken me some time to learn, keep it simple, break it down real simple. And that seems to be working really well in our community. So I would love to have you guys check out our free course, check out our free trial to our live streams, please. You know, I make everything super affordable, super available because I want to just try to impact as many people as we can. Definitely check out the podcast. That's free. Bruce has been on. Great episode. Did a lot of screen share. Really, really good stuff. We'll probably have to do a part 2 at some point here, Bruce. You know what I'm saying?
Whatever you need, happy to help.
Thanks, man. Okay, so C Money said it's okay, you're late. Don't worry. Maybe he already talked about it, but I'm curious. Is his advice on consistency rules? Today, you've cut a great trade early because of it and how he approaches the qualification accounts. Smaller risk per trade or do max contracts if you're allowed to if it catches bad frames. Great question. Okay, come to that. And then Rob says, sorry, covered, but prop firms would you recommend us checking out first? Cool. All right, so let's finish on that. The consistency rule thing is really interesting, C Money. So every firm requires a different percentage that you don't make. Basically, you can't make the entire challenge, you can't pass it in one day, or you can't take and make your entire payout in one day. They want to see consistency. Each firm has different percentages. All you should do, brother, is sit down and do the math of, okay, for example, I can use TradeZella. TradeZella is the firm I just took that payout from last month. You look at their 20% consistency rule, which is less than the 50% consistency rule from a firm like TopStep. But that 20% rule allows you to not have to take a challenge. So I would forego and be able to play the rule of the tighter consistency rule to not have to pay to take a challenge, because I think I'm a good trader. I don't want to be in challenges. I want to trade funded accounts. So my perspective is I'd rather go to a straight to funded, trade a little bit smaller, like you said, smaller risk per trade, and not have to do the whole max contract thing to pass. In the past, to get my XFAs with TopStep, what I've done is I've said, okay, here's how much money I'm going to spend every month on combines. I'm going to trade them max loss or max profit every day until I pass or until I hit that number of money I'll spend. That's it. So it's always a business. It's always a bottom line. What's the number, right? How much are you willing to lose? How much are you willing to spend? And then how many tries does that give you to get through that challenge? So that's like two questions in there you had. Hopefully I answered both of those for you. And then Rob said, what firms would you recommend? The firms I'm trading with would be TradeZella and TopStep. I think My Funded Futures is a great firm. I think, who else? Take Profit Trader. I've had their CEO on the podcast a couple of days after Bruce. Great guy. They're based in Florida. I like their firm too. I don't recommend Apex. I don't know anyone there, but I do know that one of our Black Shirt Club members who took a 40K payout, 40K came from Apex. We had a couple of guys get 10K from Apex in the last few months. Now they've changed their rules and they've made it a lot harder to get payouts. So just guys, do your own research, please. Don't just take my word for it. Read their FAQ, read their reviews, join their Discord. Like, do some research before you just buy something, please. And everyone offers different data platforms, right? TradeZella, you have to copy trade through TradeEvade. That's not as user-friendly as copy trading like this through TopStepX, which makes it super easy. So again, pros and cons everywhere, everybody. You just got to try a couple of different things and find what works for you. That's the thing, right? Like, I'm big on don't overthink, know your risk, and no try. You're not failing. To lose a challenge, to lose a funded account, to not try is to fail. That's the only way to fail. Otherwise, you're learning. Just see it all as learning, everybody. That's my advice. Like, this prop firm thing is not easy. It's a different game. It's not trading your own money like we're all used to. So you got to give yourself some kindness and some time to learn how to play the game, right? It's just like any sport or any game. Nobody's good at it right off the jump. You got to learn. You got to practice. You got to train. Yeah. Shark said, do you add into trades when the market agrees with you? I do not usually. I trail my stop, I maximize my win, I trade the proper position size, and I just rinse and repeat that. My stats from the TradeZella that I was showing you here tell me that I can be profitable most months, right? I've had 2 red months this year. Hopefully this month is not red as well. So for the most part, I believe in my statistics. I know I don't do great adding in. I do better when I'm in and out. So again, I just know myself. I know what works for me. But you might be different, Sharp.
I've got a question
Just took those
for you.
Yep. Yeah, good.
For you, Austin. I mean, going back to C Money's comment there, and we made this point earlier, but like this is where the kick yourself, approach comes in, where okay, like you would have had a huge winner if you just held on to this, but you didn't know that, and you're trying to pass your evaluation account or get payouts. Well, then you did the right thing. You took the high probability trade, you got in, you made some money, you got out, and you look for the next one.
We're going to close it full right there, Bruce. So 271 on that, which is a nice little win considering it was only 5 micros. So yeah, absolutely. The thing that I would recommend to people on that specific topic is your job as a trader is not to know where the market is supposed to go and when it's supposed to turn and when it's supposed to stop. Your job, you have to stop thinking that. Subconsciously, most of you are probably thinking that, even though you're going to say, no, I'm not. Yes, you are. By worrying about trying to catch the whole move and maximize it, you're thinking about that, which is an unknown. It's an uncontrollable. Focus on the control variables, your entry size, your position size, same thing, your entry price, I meant to say. So your placement of when you're getting into the market, your timing, your stop loss placement. Focus on the things you can actually control behind an edge, behind a strategy that either is back tested or is working for you in the past, and then just let the data play out. This is not an emotional, exciting roller coaster business like everybody wants it to be. I keep my business boring. That's why I do okay. I make money. So it's like, keep it boring is my opinion. Keep it, oh, there's my entry. I have to take it. Like I described my perfect setup to you guys today, and it happened to present for the first time in a couple of days. Haven't seen this break out and then break back into the range trade in a while. So got to take it. Don't know the outcome, but I got to take it, because at the end of the day, if I look back on it and I didn't take it, I'm going to be pissed at myself for that. More so than I would be if I just lose a good setup. I'll take a loss on a good setup because I know they win more than they lose. So you got to trade to your targets. Like my target was the previous day, New York VWAP. We got a little bit more than that. Great trade. That's it. If it runs all day, fantastic. I can take another trade. Imagine that. So you got to just let go of that, everybody. Don't worry about trying to catch the whole move. And always one more thing about that topic, just be motivated by the potential future for you to trade more size. Oh, in the future, I'll have more size and I'll maximize. And this will be a $7,000 trade or a $70,000 trade, whatever you want to think. Be motivated by that idea. Don't be negative. I'm always thinking about is the self-talk positive or negative, right? To perform well, you got to be positive. So don't be negative to yourself. It's like, man, you should have stayed in this and made more money. Do I sound negative to you? Just not
to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's
what I said. Bruce, it's like stay up all night, trade all night, don't sleep, don't hang out with your family. You want to talk to me about missing money? Trade every minute of every day, trade crypto. Come on, even trade the weekends. It's like, no, we can't do that. No, it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's a really good point, though. I mean, like, it's this. I mean, you're kind of joking about it, but it's rather subtle, but I think really important point here is about your outlook being positive, not negative.
Yes.
The reason being is that you're building confidence, and then you have a positive outlook, and then you are, growing instead of beating yourself up.
Yes.
You might kick yourself for, oh shoot, I got out of that trade. Well, okay, then if that is the case, then you did the right thing. You got out of that trade. You didn't know it was going to have all this huge momentum behind it. Go back and maybe take a look though and say like, okay, well, are there any clues that would have given me insight to tremendous momentum unfolding here? And then
100%.
look back at it in hindsight, and then reevaluate how you want to modify your edge, maybe in a different setup. So
100%.
Anyway,
it's a great thought. It ties into Dan's question right there about journaling. I would just say I encourage everyone to do journal every day. I would also encourage everyone to do a video review every day. Talk yourself through the day. Like Bruce just said, pull up the Bookmap, scroll back, look at where you took your trades, talk yourself through it. What did you miss in the live market because you were on your phone or you went to take a piss or whatever you did? So it's like, I recommend video reviews beyond just daily journaling. So like a typical daily journal for me looks like, I'll just show you really quick. And I do a video review every day that I trade, and I post it on X for accountability, and I post it to my community so people can learn from my stupid mistakes that I still make sometimes. Today, I haven't done anything. Let's just click a random day in October and see what it looks like. There you go. 3 trades, 2 winners, pre-trading routine, trades I took, markups from the trading day, and then a review of the day. Pretty boring, pretty lame on this day. But some days are, I mean, winning days are, you did well, you did your job. The losing days are usually where I have a bigger DRC, a bigger daily report card. Like here, made $173, busy day, hurricane prep, hit that trade. So I would recommend everyone does it, but everyone does it differently. I like video reviews. And I would just say, if you do video reviews and you start creating content, you can eventually start building a little brand for yourself and maybe making some side money like I've done. So I don't think that's a bad thing. Like, I'm going to recommend everyone does that. I'm kind of like grooming some guys in our community to get them with their personal brand going. It gives you something else to do once you make money from trading too. So a lot of wins to sharing your content. And then you get great markups like this. I can come back and look at my previous trades and study them because I put time into doing the markups and studying. What can I learn from this? Like this one, I traded long here, but there was a huge block of orders at 6007. At those 07s filled. I shouldn't have traded away from those. Well, this is a great markup. This is a great lesson. So you got to journal every day, but it's going to look different, right? Like I'm trading the same strategy for the last 3 years. It's going to look a lot different, my daily journal, than someone who's trying to figure out their strategy for the first time. So.
Yeah, you know, that's interesting. And for you Academy guys, you know, you might find it interesting as well. We have this thing called the Bookmap Academy, and you mark up your charts like you had just shown. You know, I just want to kind of underscore it. Like, this is how you can help yourself.
Yep. And I'll do it like this too. I'll do it right as I'm trading. Entry is breakout of opening range low, break back in to range, trade to top of range or previous day New York VWAP. And then if you go and line up a bunch of my other trades that look like this with that breakout to the bottom and then the New York VWAP break for the entry, they will say the same thing. So then when I can put a webinar together or a course together, I can show people how repeatable it is across months. It's the same setup. It doesn't present every day, doesn't look exactly the same, but once you start to use the same variables, you can find it. What's the expectancy, accuracy, average? So here, I can just show you. Here's all my stats for the last year. This goes back to September 20th of 2023. So that's my stats across all funded accounts and no personal capital. This is all funded accounts. So average win to loss is basically 1, profit factor 1.7, trade win rate 61%. What's interesting is if you filter this by longs for me, and we just look at longs, 62% win rate, 70% day win rate, right? Pretty good, 0.83. And then check out my shorts. And I told you I'm a long biased guy, but look at this. Lower win rate, higher profit factor, and higher day win rate. So I don't trade short as much, but I've had some really good shorts. So 62% means 5 hits in a row for sure. Yes. So cool.
Any
else
key metrics?
Yes.
Yeah. Any key metrics that you really like to home in on? Like you just kind of went through a few there.
Yeah. So I would recommend, again, if you use TradeZella, you can even filter it by month, by quarter, whatever, right? So if you look at last 30 days, this is what I like to look at. Average win to average loss should be pretty close. You, of course, want your winners bigger than your losers. Average hold time. You'd want your winners to be longer than your losers. I've had a couple of trades over the last week or two that I've held longer. So you'll see winners are still a little bit longer than losers. But if we take a look at my entire trading, that's like one thing I've been trying to always focus on is winners should be held longer than losers. So key metrics, time in winners versus time in losers, average win versus average loss. And I would even recommend studying like here, max consecutive winning days, 16, max consecutive losing days, 3. So I know my expectancy is I shouldn't have more than 3 red days in a row. So I can keep that. That's, again, a more positive reinforcement there. So these stats can reinforce a lot of thoughts in your mind of how to believe in yourself too, because this is the real, this is me. You know, this is a reflection of me in the mirror. What I was going to say is I'd recommend using something like TradeZella. I haven't done this for all my trades, but in here you can actually come in and playbook your trades and then see the expectancy of each entry signal. So here's my A2 entry, my VWAP entries, and I can see how much money I've made in them and then my expectancy on those trades and those win rates. So I would recommend tagging by entries so you can study which entries are making you the most money and, of course, which ones are costing you money. So.
Yeah. Yeah. No, great stuff. I mean, like we have a journal built into Bookmap as well.
Love it.
And continue to add more and more features to it. Yeah, we show it all the time, and like and starting to bring it more into the Bookmap Academy as well, or trying to at least.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Bruce, thanks for having me, man. This was great.
Yeah,
Hour flew by.
Thank
Sorry
you.
for yapping your ear off, everybody, but thanks for listening.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you so much, Austin. Yeah, why don't you just leave us with your number one tip or trick, and then we'll let everyone go.
Number one tip, everybody, is don't take it too seriously. A lot of you are trading personal funds. That's something you definitely want to take seriously. Come into the prop space, try it, play with it. Don't attach your self-worth to it. I have too many guys that get so upset when they fail or they lose money in a simulated funded account. These are amazing opportunities to trade a sim funded account and take real money out in your bank account. Do not be negative. Do not linger. Do not waste time. Take the chance. Take the risk. I think there's a saying, right? Something about like you take the risk it for the biscuit, something like that. You got to put some skin in the game, but go slow and don't take it too seriously. That would be my advice.
All right. Excellent. Well, there you go, everybody. Again, thank you so much, Austin. Really great stuff.
Thanks, everybody.
Some compliments coming through.
Thanks, everybody. Good to meet you guys. Hopefully I'll see you guys again soon. Bruce and Dan, thank you guys so much for having me, and we'll chat again in a little bit.
Okay. Thanks again. Okay. Bye, Austin.